Rawr. Hello, everybody. Nate. We were just talking in the little members pre-stream time about what a Rexy livery would look like on this. But since there is no bottom valance, it would be a little bit more difficult to pull off the Rexy look. So, hello, everybody. Welcome back. Friday night. I've got the Porsche in front of me as it's been a topic of discussion as we discuss the long. Oh, I've got the live stream takeover media showing. Let's pull that off. There we go. Not bad. So the Porsche is going to be our next build along. Obviously, I did this some time ago. And I know that a lot of what I did can be done better now. And that is exciting for me as well. I think that there's a lot of Axel is in the bottom jaw. There's a lot that I can do. I know that I could have a lot of fun with redoing. So that's the plan. It's going to be, I believe, around the beginning of June when we actually get this thing launched. And I'm just taking off the body right now. There's 4 screws, 2 on each side that hold the body in place. So the discussion point is what should be, changed on the design, the construction style or design that was done on this to make it better now. You don't really take the body off of this normally, so I've only taken it off like maybe 3 or 4 times. There we go. Oh yeah, lights. That's why I never take this body off. I forget that every time. I know I put plugs on everything here, but let's see if I can get this all pulled out of here. Disconnect these lights, and then hopefully I can get a look at it. Isn't it pretty crazy how vacuum former 3D files are? Yeah, I had, after you had mentioned that on the in the member video, I went and looked it up, and yeah, so like on this body, when I did it for Matt and I, pull these out. There we go. When Matt and I built these, I made a buck for the windshield because it is properly curved in each way. Sanded it, polished it, all that, and then vacuum formed it. So I was like, oh, well, we need to make sure that we can do that. I got to make sure that I can get everybody to do a vacuum form window. But turns out there's fully 3D printable vacuum tables on Maker World. You can download and you'll like, oh, well, that's freaking perfect. That saves me a bunch of work. So you should use a high heat resistant filament, but that should be pretty obvious. And while I was probably going to do like an aluminum top sheet, it's not needed if you just print it in a high temp material. So I'm not going to stress about that at all. We're just going to point everybody to that. What do you think about the bamboo fiasco going on? What fiasco? Not familiar. Not one that has affected me so far. I just saw Class 1 requires a grill now. Any chance you will add it with the body updates? No. I'm also not super worried about it fitting into Sorka at all. Oops. I just hid everything on my desktop. I guess, like, where on a 911 is there a grill? I guess technically you could put a I could technically have like some mesh that goes in between those two bumper bars, and you could call that a grill, but like it's a 911. Like what else? The hood goes down, and then it goes to a bumper. So I don't know. The any idea when 102 millimeter Bill's links back in stock? No, I don't. I don't have an idea on that right now. The usually in the bumper, yeah, but exactly. It's like I feel like that is an easy enough argument. I guess I could make you a template to cut a coal so you could put some vents and you can say that's your grill. But otherwise, I can't say, ooh, the grill on a 911 is the engine cover. Hey, there you go. You can just say it's this. Perfect. That is, yeah, that's the real good thinking. I think with all going on, my best option probably an H10 kit. Any estimates on restocking? It's in June for the H10 kit. Yes, high demand for those. Definitely change some demand. Louis Rothman put their code up on his site and said, "Sue me, bro." Yeah, I haven't watched it. It wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't surprise me. That's is what it is. But H10 Pro, not a thing. Not a thing. Also, not what you will see. Would you suggest ABS or ABS glass fire for the vacuum bed? I don't know if the ABS GF adds any heat. I don't know that it adds any better heat performance or not. I believe that on the Maker World vacuum table that I was looking at closely yesterday, it was showing a PA-HT filament being suggested. The HT standing for high temp, which makes a lot of sense. That would be the, a nice obvious choice. I think that would work pretty well. So if you guys didn't follow when I was doing this one originally, so it's a VRD carbon basically underneath. That is the, the typical setup. It is a 3-link panhard front, with chassis mounted servo. I'm going to keep the chassis mounted servo just because, well, I'm not concerned with this being Sorca. I think it is cooler being that it is a scale-ish type truck to have the servo away. And the problem was with this is that you couldn't have the servo mounted in like a typical VRD carbon way because it stuck up too high and it would have been all the way through the hood. Low profile servo, whatever you want, it wasn't going to work. It was way too high for how little room there is with a 911 style hood up front. So I decided to do a setup that I created a servo horn that went forward and it was welded to a shaft that went up to a bell crank that had basically another servo horn type shape made out of steel that I pinned through. It was drilled all the way through. That shaft was done. And then the steering servo is this. So as you can see there, and I'm going to stay with that design for the most part. BTA and a stubby now? No, I'm going to stay with this. I just think with it being like a small tire, all that, I think it's going to be more fun to have it still be this kind of wacky setup. We could possibly do it differently, but I think for the most part, I'm going to keep it this same way. just because why not? So, you know, it's just like, it wouldn't totally ruin it to do BTA in a stubby. It would make it easier, I guess. I don't know if everyone's just concerned with making it easier, then we could go that route. I don't know. I guess, I mean, it would allow me to do a lot more with the interior. And if people were fine with it, then I guess why not? I guess that'll be a discussion to have when the keep the steering as it. See, I feel like it's kind of part of the build. Removable hardtop. I mean, I guess you could. I don't know. It's a possibility. It definitely won't be a priority to do that. It's pull time. If it worked, why change it? I think it's cool. It is kind of, yeah. That's one of your projects you ever taken easier. Steering servo is, I mean, it's smart. It's a lot of extra shit going on, right? Like that's the problem. And it's basically in the interior. My one thought is going to because this is a 900 Smart. It's like one of my favorite servos. I really like that servo. But if I went with like a 800 LP, I could get it lowered down, you know, get it less intrusive to the interior and all that. But I don't know. You know, it does have a linkage that has to basically snake through the transmission area to clear everything. It's right alongside the motor plate, the whole deal. So I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to see what everybody thinks when it's time. It is tempting to make it simple. But I don't know. I'm feeling like I'd like to keep it as it is. So beyond that, you know, the opportunities that are going to come with this are things like, you know, adding more style to inner fenders. The interior is going to be a big part of it. Adding like proper door cards and things to the inside of the body to make everything look nice and perfectly finished throughout. Lots of fun opportunities for that stuff. Just make it rear steer only. Use the KISS method. But then we wouldn't be doing a carbon fiber body in the first place. I do like the idea of a regular VFD so we can put a Fusion Pro motor in it. Yeah, this, I believe, is a standard Fusion. I can't remember if it's a Fusion Pro or not. I don't think that it is because I don't think that the Pro was made yet. No, it is. It is Fusion Pro. Never mind. So I felt like it came after. This might have been right around the time that Fusion Pro was released even. But RC with RC. Hello, everybody. My all-time favorite build you've done. But just a little biased. Glad to see you, Robbie. Hope all's well. I think the body needs a little what? Needs a little what? But we're getting closer on a lot of things. I'm excited for. You know, there's some of the stuff on this one. Like it's going to be wild how different this build along will be versus others. The other ones have been like mainly about tube work, and then from there we had lots of fun details that integrated. This one's going to be a lot about the body. Most about the body. The tube work on this is pretty straightforward. You're gonna be able to knock out tube work in, you know, a day and be ready to go. So Perry G, thank you very much. Going up 88 to the Bear River Overlook tomorrow. No, why? Is there something going on? Bear River Overlook. I kind of think I know where that's at, but I wasn't planning on it for any reason. There must be something happening there. Otherwise, or you didn't need to use a question mark. I need to know. Oh, sorry. The body needs a little pledge. That is very true. It needs a good bath and then some pledge because it's covered in KOH dirt. And that stuff just sticks to everything. Thank you very much, Big Green Tratter. Watching while tractoring, hopefully safely. Hopefully you have auto drive on. What year did you build that one? This one I built 3 years ago, almost to the date. We had to compete in Colorado with this around June 2nd of 2023. So we finished it. Seriously, the dust from this thing gets to me. We finished it just before leaving. So yeah. Are you going to make a 3D printed body? Nope. Anybody who does it is going to have to make the carbon body. Just the way that we're going. I want it to be true to the original intent. Yes, sir. Auto drive is on. Has it really been 3 years in the build? It has, which is wild. The Road to the Rockies video series. Wait, was it? It was Road to the Rockies, right? What did Matt and I call when we did? Yes, because it was Rocky Mountain Regionals was the name of that event. When Matt and I did the Jimmy's buggies, that was Rocky Mountain High. Is that right? Then we were going to nationals in Colorado for the buggies. But yeah, so many opportunities for more fun to come. It's still, I mean, the performance on it is basically a VRD carbon, but that's been 3-linked with panhard. And the VRD carbon was designed like that as well from the beginning, just so that, you know, like we had that intention in mind. So that helped to make sure that all this was going to work like it. Green star for the win. Tractor technology is amazing. I've held mats in my hands. Too cool. Would love to make one. You should do it. Crawlers. You know, Matt, I just sent him files and he just shoved carbon and resin and stuff and clamped it down. Can dog hair be made used to make the body? Asking for, you know what? You put just about anything in resin, it'll work. That stuff is oh, I didn't remember that I used one of the fans from the Vanquish radiators on the back of the motor. I forgot about that. I already spent too much on RC. Stop reminding me how much I spent on YouTube. MST, good seeing you. Have you been watching F1? I went to Miami GP this year. It was awesome. Yeah, I haven't missed a bit of F1, and Miami was a fantastic race. Seeing Kimi win, as long as Kimi stays ahead of Russell, I'm excited. Not a Miami, or I'm not a Mercedes fan, but as long as Kimi beats Russell, I'll be stoked. On my daily commute here in Stockton, they're splitting lanes on I-5 at my exit. Does it actually help, or is this driving me crazy for no reason? Splitting lanes, like putting one person on the outside of a divider, generally that's for construction phasing. It has to be used so that they can get enough built adjacent to the construction area so that they can then maintain traffic on that. That is the typical reason why you move people over, using temporary pavement and shoe flies. But I'm waiting to see how many people convert it to leaves. Now you're just trying. You're just trying me at this point. Can a whittle body? Can I whittle a body out of wood? You're going to have to do it from memory. Hello, happy Friday. I need to buy a new 3D printer. Yeah, there's so many good options. Never used carbon, so this will be fun. Yeah, it's when Matt and I did this one, we really hadn't either. I had played around with it the previous year for the Commando I built. But it wasn't until the very last piece of the Commando when I was doing the hood that I kind of came across the style that I wanted to use. So like none of that really applied to how we did this one. So when I did this one, it was all new, pushed through, and it's a great time. What file is that motor, the 3D motor on the back? It's one that I designed. It's on my website, available for sale separately right now, but it's just a file I designed out of, just for something cool for this thing. Turbos, exhaust. It's not an accurate Porsche engine. I was just going off of some random shit. How many STL printer stages will there be to make the frame? To make the body? I mean, well, I don't know. A lot. There will be more printing on this one than any of the previous build-alongs. Like, couldn't agree more on that. Russell has been on my nerves for a while. Chad Kastner is having a crawl tomorrow at the Overlook above Bear River Reservoir. Listed on second. Oh, I didn't see that. I have not had a chance to be on the Facebook that much. But listen, I was all over Russell. Then I realized I'm not saying he won't do well, but I just want Kimmy to beat him so he can start his villain era. I need to buy a new 3D printer. What bamboo do you recommend? So Brandon, my coworker Brandon, he was wanting to get a bamboo for his son at home who's super interested in 3D printing. And ended up kind of suggesting to him that the X2D, which is like the new kind of X1 carbon, he ended up getting that, and man, it's nice. Heated chamber, all that. It's like a smaller version of the H2D, which is my favorite. So I love my H2D, but that X2D is probably a better fit for most people, as the H2D is big, like size-wise. It takes up a lot of space. So that's the biggest thing. But I would personally say the heated chamber area is like one of the biggest benefits. I really, really like that. And so, how much harder is titanium and weld than steel? It's not. I mean, it's maybe just a little bit harder, but not that bad. Really, what you have to do is it's just a lot of prep. You got to make sure that everything is as clean as you can make it. Just clean it, like acetone. Don't touch anything with your bare hands. Don't let a Sharpie mark contaminate your weld area. If you can, add some shielding around your part. So like when you're flowing argon, it creates a cavity around it. I didn't do that on most of this. I just sent it because it's an RC car, not a aerospace part. But the more prep that you do, and the more that you pay attention to try and keep the gas surrounding the part, the better. And beyond that, it's just like anything. So keep it shielded, keep it clean. That's really it. Josh, did you mention how you plan to do the rolled tubing on this build? Not for sure yet. We're going to play around with some stuff. I've got some ideas. So it is one of the larger parts of it. So that's I'll get it figured out, but I haven't yet. So yeah, is there any 3D printed material that actually makes it to the car, or is it 100% print jigs mold to create parts? So the interior, like if you look at this part here, the interior parts are printed, you know, seats, dash, inner fenders, this rear seat, rear cover, the entire engine, a number, like the rear cross braces, number of cross braces. The front is actually there is a carbon plate on top and on bottom. Or just on, no, yeah, there's a carbon plate on top and bottom, sandwiching a printed plate that has two bearings in it to support the bell crank design. So yes, there is a lot of printed parts on this. The car, the body itself, the lights up front are printed, and the tail light is printed. And then I have a wing for it, but I might change that up to a louvered grill back there as an option as well, just because the wing was not ideal for running. So, want to make this stream even weirder? I've been watching this stream so far in the shower. More after flow gas. Yeah, I do a lot of pre and post flow. I try and get as much gas in an area to let it get good and surrounded, but it isn't as important as the post flow. Yeah, because, and the reason that you need to do the pre and post flow for titanium is that it oxidizes at a much lower temperature. So rather than like carbon steel, you just have a short amount of post flow gas while it's cooling down, because steel, it oxidizes when it's red hot, and that's what you need. You want enough gas flowing over it so that it's not red hot by the time the gas stops. Where titanium, it oxidizes down to like 700 degrees, which is well below red hot. So you need to stop, and you need to keep that argon on it so that the oxygen doesn't hit it until it's below 700 degrees. If I have that number right in my head, which I could be wrong. I'm just going off of memory from however long ago. It's easy. Stainless is 95% print, where steel is like 75% print overall. Yeah, it's super simple. They're super similar. Can the S welder 205 do titanium? Yep, 100%. Absolutely. You don't need anything different for titanium than you do steel. The only thing that like some of the yes welders won't do is the really long post flow gas. So sometimes you need to just tap the pedal again to like reset the 10-second timer. I think it maxes out at 10 seconds on the yes welder. And I'll run up to like 30 seconds at times. So yeah. Don't care who goes to Merck as long as Toto drops George. George goes back to Williams. Try to keep your gloves clean too. Clean the filler rod just to rub it on your. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's literally just everything should be clean. Tungsten clean, your filler rod material clean, everything clean is the biggest thing. I'm also. How are you guys typing? Great. I need to learn to weld now. Listen, you can build pens, you can weld. You can cut threads on a lathe, you can weld. Why titanium on this one instead of steel on this build? So like when Matt and I built these, mine was titanium, his was steel. When I build the next one, I'm going to do steel. Why did I do titanium? Literally just because. This is solid titanium versus tubing steel. It's still about 30% lighter than tubing, is steel tubing. So a little bit lighter. It is very strong. It's a bit of a bitch to work with. It is more expensive. It does make all of your laser cut parts more expensive. So You got to determine if it's something you think that is worth it. But I'm gonna make my next one out of just regular steel. Perfectly fine. This is, like you can see the blue and stuff on this. I anodized this with distilled water and baking soda and a power source. So, yeah. Waterproof now. I know. I still can't get my, I still won't get my phone wet. I'll say my new tie welding gloves for the titanium cage. Good call. Good call. You don't want to know what I'm doing in the shower. God damn it. I'll let it up. So, anyway. But the opportunity that we've got for getting the interior redone, lowered, more appropriately sized seats, some of that stuff, definitely has me excited for some possibilities. I think that's going to be one of my favorite parts of it, is spending a bunch of time looking at all that stuff. That's moving on. Do you think you will open up the project to more people than the last one? Haven't decided yet. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided. Are you getting your coworkers the air fryer? No, they're not getting a goddamn air fryer. Yeah, those girls want, like, can we get an air fryer? And I'm like, no, you're not putting an air fryer in this room. They're the most spoiled. You told me at BTC 25 that welding was like soldering. Just about got my soldering to a quality state. Yeah, it's like once you've learned that, and like when you're soldering, you understand the flow of the heat and things like that. Yes, welding is TIG welding specifically is very, very similar to soldering. How uncomfortable can one make, Josh? I'm late to the party. What's the rundown on the new build along? We've got a little bit of time. Oops. Got to boost morale and get them the air fryer. I'm not getting the air fryer. I'm going through. I'm doing a bunch of going through, looking at my files, figuring out what's going to be the real plan of attack on some of these things, and then we'll go from there. I've still got a little bit of time before I plan to launch it. I think that it's going to be around the first half of June when it goes live. So I think that's the plan for now, and I'll have a full video on the whole thing, like kind of going through and explaining everything. The implosions during this project, man, I don't know. There's a possibility. Will there be a cinnamon bun challenge? There needs to be. We will get it. We will get it done. Now that Nicole is getting closer to being mended, and we can get back to regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, careful what you say. They'll make a reel out of you. Yeah. Based on that question, is this only for certain? So, for those that aren't familiar with the build-alongs in the past, basically how I've structured them in the past is, yes, we had a certain number of people initially, and we build it together at the same time. As I finish a file, I share it with them through the Discord. They, and we all kind of try and progress as a group through the whole thing. And then after it's all done and I've nailed down all the file stuff, I put it all together, and then I put it on the website for anybody who wants to do it. And when I put that up, that side of things, there isn't the Discord side. The Discord side is just for discussion while things are being ironed out. But that's all there is. That's all there is to that side of things. So it will be available without limit after it's finished. But like during this time when we're going through the whole thing, that's what is the limited side of things. Yes, to the air fryer at work. We have a air fryer combo out in the break area, and that's not acceptable to them. They want one in their room, which is a no. I'm not putting just more appliances in that. They already put a coffee pot in there, and they've got their own refrigerator in there, and pushing it already. Out of the 90-ish last time, only maybe 25, 30 was really active in the build. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a portion of people who are highly active. There's some people that are just in there and they just gather files, build on their own, and they would send me more personal messages than typing in the build along, which was part of it. Not everybody wants to be, chatting and social as far as that. Sometimes they just want to like watch, download a file, move on. Watch, download a file, move on. So, which is perfectly fine as well. They just have to understand that I don't always see all of my messages, but but in the end, there was a good number that got completed. And then, some people don't, but that's fine. They still, have their file options. And it just kind of goes on and on. They don't lose their Discord. The Discord stays for each of those groups, and it's just to that group, and then it's private. So I don't use the Discord unless it's during the build along series. I maintain the server, I pay for the server, but I don't really use Discord unless I'm active in a build along like time period. It's just timing wise, or time wise in the day, there's just not enough of it. So I think that thing looks good with the body shell off. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a very different, it still has a lot of the lines that you can kind of see what's going on and where. So I feel like there's some opportunity to maybe add some extra bars or something, but the rear of this is this is just back here. This floats. So is that ideal? No, that might be an area where we do different on this one. Maybe I change that up, because when it was just Matt and I doing this, I can just kind of do whatever. It's fine. So, this is something that like it met the rules, and not that I was trying to be ultra competitive with this, because I wasn't. I wanted it to be free. I wanted it to be cool more than anything. I see curved tubes. Yeah, they were all rolled tubes on this, which is something that we're going to work on and be able to make sure that everybody can do at home themselves. I often wonder how many people watch live streams in Big Green Tratter again. You're awesome. I appreciate it very much. And hopefully whoever gets the memberships you gifted also approves it or appreciates it. Let's see. Make Fakers into a 7-Eleven. No. What more do they want? Yeah, I know. They got, the rest of our shop, not air conditioned. It's pretty hot in a lot of areas. Guys working. The girls have an air conditioned room where they're assembling. Some of them will be in there in the summer with a hoodie on, while their other guys are absolutely, they're coming in starting at like 4 a.m. in the summers to be able to leave when it's not too hot out. Who makes a good air fryer? Might be a fun livery. Nobody should cook at work. I agree. What would you suggest as a first full-size crawler trail truck that can handle city walking? First full-size scale. Do you mean 1/10 scale? you say full size, I think like you're driving it 1-to-1. But if you mean 1/10 scale, actual rock crawling in the Northeast, it's real. In the end, I could make a bunch of suggestions of cars that I really like, but I think the most important thing is it's going to be the one that you want, like you're going to like looking at. Like if you're not excited to look at it, then you're not going to be that excited to drive it. You have to think it looks cool, especially if you only have one of that scale. Buy the one you think looks the coolest to you. If it's a truck with a body like an Origin Classic, or if it's a caged version like an Optic, could be from any brand, whatever you think like is the coolest to look at, I feel like is one of the most important things for a first car. Whatever brand that may be, of course, there's other things. Going with a brand that's going to be reliable is always a bonus, so that you're not breaking it every time you touch it and then you just get mad looking at it. So, but you need to make sure that you're going to like what it's like. Josh never comes back to Discord after he's done. Oh, I agree. Oh, so he gets no, we cannot tie it into the bumper. Yeah, that's the obvious move, right? Is tie into the bumper. I think that what I would do is I wouldn't weld it into the bumper. I would take these bumper tabs in the back, carry them up a little bit, giving myself a spot that I could tag in another mount. So I think I could do that pretty easily and allow it to be modular still, so that it gave people the ability for fudge, like they didn't exactly nail it dead nuts, they'll still be okay. I have definitely watched more interesting content in the shower. Good. It's the best feeling to be part of the build along and be out crawling somewhere and have someone else stop and recognize it. Yeah, that side of things is a blast. Get shit. Hey, what's happening? Just got here. Is the plan for the Porsche build to be the build along this time? Yes, it is. Good seeing you here as well. Why is there so much multitasking going on this stream? I don't know. See, Aaron, I think that this could be the one. It was my buddy Cody was texting me day before yesterday, a couple days ago, something like that. Showing, he's just like, QT's got merch now. And I was like, see if they have a fitted hat. I would wear a QT fitted hat. But I love QT enough that I would be totally up for doing that. I have a hot dog roller on my I just can't. Do they have a smoothie machine? Who gets the gifted membership? They just they're like randomly assigned by YouTube. On my side, it tells me who got them, or in the YouTube chat side. I'm actually on my StreamYard chat. Seriously, the dust on this car gets me. It's KOH dust. Making a tube roll isn't too complicated. The dimensions of the material is not too hard to roll. Just a printed template to verify. So yeah, I made a printed template for this when I was doing it the first time, and I would just roll, check, just kind of sneak up to it. The harder part is when it's titanium, because it's got a lot of spring back, and it's a rigid material, so it's a lot harder to roll than, say, carbon tube. So I do have a design for the roller pretty close to good, but I think that I can actually do some work to make it a little bit more user-friendly without having to buy, because I was using the design that I have that I've kind of worked on prototyping is it uses screen door wheel rollers. They're a brass roller that has the proper diameter of this tubing to help support it. And then I was using a skateboard wheel as my center pressure wheel. But I think I can get away without having to do that and make people go source those exact parts. So I'm going to do some thinking to work around that, and try and kind of do like the bender where it was I made a more easily sourced option. I can't touch it. Freaking ridiculous. Getting it all up in the hills camping. Perfect time for the Porsche when I was going to start the IJ, finish a bugger build, and get things ready for Rockville. Deadline for Scale Challenge West. Man. I wonder. That's a 2-month time frame, basically, if we started around the beginning of June. No, that's a month and a half, really. Man, I don't know. It's possible, maybe, but people would have to be freaking on their game. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to say that it's probably not going to happen that fast. Yeah, that's or build one that looks like your ex car. What the hell, Phoenix? How far behind am I? I think I'm way behind. What tubing roller did you use? When I built this one, I used one that I borrowed from my buddy Ben, and it was made by Northwest Scale Designs. But it was an expensive one. I was going to buy one. I think he wanted like $250 for it, which was probably more than I wanted to do. Just normal bearings and add cut side plates to keep them. Yeah, I think, it's nice to have one that power feeds through, but is that needed? Probably not. So I think we can probably make it more reasonable. So the my goal was to power feed, but probably be more reasonable. It's not. Big green tratter. I'm waiting to build a Formula 4x4 and thinking about starting with an H. Yes. The Formula off-road trucks, for sure. So if I was going to build one, I would also use an optic. I think I would take an optic. I would stretch the rear wheelbase a little bit, put sway bars on it, paddle tires. I think I'd stretch the rear like 15 millimeters or so. And that I think would be the way to go. I think it'd be a blast. Whoa, missed a lot. Had some friends over for dinner. Looks like Porsche build off. Who's doing the martini livery? Your driver needs to have a birthday chilling on his arm. We all know I don't do driver figures. BTF would be more. So I think By the Fire will be, will be long done by then, but By the Fire, I'd like to have the U4 done for. That would be where I'd be like to be driving the U4 build along by that time. 2 months goes by too fast, dude. It freaking flies by. So when I was doing it, he had a socket. Basically, you drive it with a 10 mil socket, and just, but Josh hides it. Phoenix. I bit the bullet and bought an 82R body for my optic, and super excited to get it painted and weather up. Dan was working on his yesterday at the shop, so he got it in there. He swapped because he had a gray 82R body and he had a gray cage, so he swapped the cage over to a black cage, and it looked great. Yeah. By the Fire group run, yeah. By the Fire Gold group run, for sure. That will be like, we'll absolutely do it by then. IFS U4 optic. So the U4 that was the one that I was wanting to do, and I just couldn't I was just having a mental block with it, and that's why I decided to do this one. But the U4 is a techno based, so it's IFS IRS. But I'm pushing that one a little bit while doing this, but it's just, I needed that. I needed, for one, a little bit of the push, just because I got, in the end, this is a hobby, and I want to work on what is getting me going at the time. And for some reason, the U4 wasn't. So I needed a pivot. Yeah. If plans work out, we need a bit of time to make it work. That's exactly it. So, was it Paul Wolf you were doing the U4 chassis from? No, Tommy Dykstra is the basis of the U4, because I've got like the tube work blocked out for it already. I've got some of the stuff figured out. But the rest of it, like I've even 3D printed the nose portion because I wanted that to be a bit modular, trying to make the whole thing of the U4 so that it's convenient to work on still, because that is almost never the case with those U4 RC rigs. So that was part of it. Can just imagine the black mark on our highway. Police are warning these have screen door thefts. Oddly, people like, I got a screen door over behind the shed. Over there ripping wheels out. I have an SCT 410.2. It's what I race. I really hope it was going to be a conversion to using a Vanquish React. Nope, that is not the plan. Gearing differences, gearing size, open diffs, all that. It just not super feasible. So just bought a broken VFD twin transmission off eBay for $90. I mean, transmission, like you got a gear or something bad, it's pretty easy fix. So it seems like a decent deal as long as you're, pick up a gear set and you're good to go. I agree about the U4. I know I will do it. It's fun, but more excited about the port. I think that most people have been, just the number of messages and texts I've got from people. So the one reason that I am considering maybe doing some more people is just because of the number of people that I've had message. I'm like, oof, I need to. And since I have done I have done one of these before, I know that I can get it done. And that's always like the concern with the build alongs in the past, is I'm like, well, I don't want to overdo this in case a plan doesn't go to plan and I got to figure something out. So yeah. So this one I'm more, I've got the background on. Granted, it's been a while since I've done it, so we'll figure it out. There's still going to be a lot of experimenting on this one. It's not going to just be file dumps of finished parts after finished part. There's going to be a lot of redo and redesign, and I would guess that 80% of the parts on this thing get a significant relook at. I'm pretty happy with the bumper setup in the front. The bumper setup in the rear, we just determined we're probably going to change just to add some tabs up to capture these. The interior is all going to change, pretty much 100%. Probably work on design, just fancying up of the inner fenders. So how the body attaches may or may not change. So, yeah. But that's the fun side. This thing does run a flat skid design versus the angle, so I'll probably leave that. I think that it's still appropriate. Even though I'm not worried about Sorka rules, I will still, there are some things about it that I'll probably keep. I guess the real question, the biggest question about really changing up how this thing is like, do I go to a stubby and a BTA to make this thing give myself so many more interior options, clean things up, make things way easier for people to fabricate? Like for those reasons, it makes so much sense. And since I don't really care about Sorka rules, it would sure be a world of difference. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. What's the desire for leaves on a build? There is none. There's no desire. I guess the biggest thing would be, head trauma. Just fear of performance. Yeah, those would be the biggest ones, I think. Why is your front seat so loose? I don't know. It's hard to say. It's missing one portion. So because of the range of motion of the servo, you can see that cutout in the seat. Well, there's a cover that kind of went over that is currently missing, but the servo horn went back into the seat area, made it a little uncomfortable for the driver at times, but with that cover went on there. It's just hard to say. It's really it's only attached in this back area rather than having multiple points. So yeah. Are you going to leave the wheels and tires or change them? If change it, put it on x-rays. Well, this car isn't getting touched. This car is just going to sit like it is. This one is what it was. I'm building a new one. So, will I use the impacts again? Probably not. I'll probably change it up. I don't know if I'll use x-rays just because, they feel more muscle car to me than they do Porsche. What I need to do is I need to have us make some Fuchs at work. I wonder if I could make it happen. If you're not worried about Sorka rules, are you going to add dig? That's a good point. I definitely could. Yeah. What chassis is that on? It's a custom chassis. It's one that I designed up for it. It's very specific to the design, how it goes straight back and then kicks up, so that it left room for the motor and like the turbos to hang just off and out of it. Front is different. It had detachable shock towers in the rear. You see back there? They bolted on. That's not necessary anymore. That was purely hey, I don't know if I've got this nailed just perfectly. So I was leaving myself some grace to be able to change things. I didn't end up needing to, but it was just in case. How many battery packs have you run through it? Through this one? I don't know, maybe 20-ish. And they're small packs. This thing runs like an 850. So I didn't run it a ton. I built it for competition at that time, and then I've only run it at events and things like that since then. I guess I took it out for a couple of trail rides, but just like any of the builds, sometimes they're built for competition, but this time when I'm looking at the interior, maybe I'll look at trying to make sure I can fit a bigger battery in it. So things like that. But there's area that we can leverage for stuff like that. And I think if I correct the seats, if we end up changing the servo location to one of our other options where I could position the seats and the size, I could make things, we could do a rear seat delete. The only reason that this had a rear seat was for Sorka points. It turned it into a 4-seat interior. So that's the only reason. I don't want rear seats. So I didn't even really remember that until just now thinking through it. So yeah, that's gone. bigger battery compartment is going in. So yeah. You said the event for the sports trucks was that one that Matt decided he was going to charge the bat. No, that was not this one. That was the year before, so that would have been 2022. That was when Matt was doing 15 amps of charging. So this was in Colorado. That one was in Gadsden, Alabama, at Cherokee Rock Village. So rear steer, no, not on this one. Which model Porsche is that again? This is if you're talking the regular on-road one, it would have been a 930 turbo. If you were talking about the off-road version that was this same body style, it would have been the 954 Porsche. So what battery can fit right now? I was running 850s 3S packs. So I had XT30 plugs on it. I ran a little 850 that just sat back there. So it was tight, but it didn't have to go. You didn't need Velcro. I'll tell you that. Sticking with class 1 tires, yes. 4.19s will still be the goal. So you can pretty safely decide what 4.19 you would like to see. I believe that these are Falcons. Yeah, Wild Peak RTs. So that's what I ran. You know what I never did run is the class 1 crawlers. I love a crawler. I might have to run those. Might have to buy that. I love watching your comps. Matt goes slow and is really trying while you're all excited. We'll see. Matt forgets that we're on a clock. Like, yeah, 6 minutes, man. You got 10 gates to get through. You can't spend a minute at each one. So that's that was always the push. Rear seats are for people with friends. Exactly. Get out of here. But you know what? That's exactly kind of what I was thinking about tonight. It was like, I need to take a look at this thing and see what needs to change. And the battery situation, larger battery, easier to get to battery. That's a perfect example of something like that needed to change. So we'll do that. We'll get rid of the seat in the back. One more opportunity to add fun new interior details anyway. And change up how that goes in there. I'm leaning more and more to changing the steering style. It really opens up a lot of opportunity for things. We'll have to see how people feel. But just because of what we could do with the interior, that's what's making me want to do it more and more now. 911 rear seats are for your enemies. Yeah, calling them a rear seat is quite the stretch, isn't it? Yeah, that's since J Concepts came out with 2.2 tires that are 4.7, do you think more companies will follow suit? I wouldn't be surprised. I think that it's a fun look to be able to change the ratio, like but at the same time, it's just like on my IJ back there, I'm running a 2.2 wheel on 1.9 tires. So is there a point in it? Not really. Like, you can just run a 1.9 tire on a 2.2 wheel if you want. So, and then you have all kinds of 475 options. So like, there's pluses and minuses, but it may not be as like, it doesn't make as much sense to make another version of the same tire already You know what I mean? Yeah. Less TF3 steers. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, the TF3 ran a steering system like this. It just didn't work very well. Where this one worked really well. You know, there was a lot of CAD that went into making sure that it worked, but there's just a lot of reasons that it doesn't need to be that way. Yeah, I don't know. Even kids don't fit in a 911 rear seat. Reference 1974 and a 2011 in the garage. Oh, both great options. Yeah. What about gaining less sidewall flex doing it that way? Doing it with stretching a 1.9 onto a 2.2? Yeah, you get a little bit less. It's not a ton, though. It's not so much that it's, like, much of a difference or noticeable thing, because you still got the same tire. It's just, like, pluses and minuses. This isn't math class. That would be pros and cons. Whatever. Same. Pluses and minuses, pros and cons. If you change the steering, keep it high mounted, I think BTA would take away from it. So that's the option. That's the thing. You can't do high mounted. You either have to do BTA or you have to do this. If you tried to mount it here, like the hood, you can't run a stubby servo and clear everything. It just doesn't fit. That was the whole reason for this. Not because I wanted this. It was just the rules for this class stated that it had to be chassis mounted, and you couldn't make it didn't fit if you didn't do it this way. So so that's the big deal, you know. And the BTA, they do tuck in really well. So it would sure help clear up some opportunities for some fun. Definitely has me thinking at this point. Sector 4 Fab. Thank you very much. If you have any other questions, requests, let me know. The benefits and detractors sounds more legit. They tuck even better with the poise motor flip. Yeah, we could do a flip. I probably won't, just because I know what I can kind of control the other way. As far as it goes, the stubby makes it super easy. They're widely available to everybody without, no matter where you're at. I don't have to worry or wait on anybody else on that side of things. And I can design around it with very specific, like known details. Also, with the stubby, where it puts the motor plate versus the other way, helps me, push it out of the way of interior stuff. So, there we go. I had a question sent twice. Makes an IFS for the Optic H10. The only one that I've seen is an adapter made to put an Element IFS2 in the front of an H10, and it was made by, who do I know? I covered it in the news. I can look it up. Hold on a second. Let me go to my news notes. And IFS. So let's see. No. Hooker Designs. You can find it on Colts 3D. Hooker, just like it sounds, Designs. He has got the IFS mounts for the H10. There it is. Like that. Hooker Designs. Relocate the twin servos to under the seats and put the steering servo on the side under the dash. Yeah. Well, this there's not a twin in this one. but I mean, a twin would possibly be an option. You know, big old hood scoop. Yeah, just put a turbo on the front of it for the rear engine car. Yeah, it's the turbo intake. But yeah, doing that, moving the servo up that way, and then, you know, granted, you still have to run a bell crank. Uh, it might fit. Like there's some, granted, going to a stubby kit. Well, I wouldn't need to go to a stubby kit if I did that. Yeah. It's there's hooker design. Hooker is also, you can get a hooker on Imagine. You heard it here first. Gene made the other one using techno stuff. Yep, I could see that. I've never seen that available like well, you know, like on a site for sale. If it is, maybe it is. Lot lizard designs take. Let's see. Used to be a rear engine Dart 725 that had a Pro Mod scoop on it. Yeah, you know, why not? But so that's the type of stuff that is going to be fun to work through on this one, the second go around. The changes that can be made on things for that. I mean, there's plenty of room to add a dig if I wanted. I think that would be an option. That would be perfectly fine. So, yeah, sent you 2 liveries. Oh no. If that second servo is a winch, could you mount the winch where the back seats are now and run a cable? Oh, sure. Now, the winch was made for an IS 300, which was like absolutely just is, you know, fit perfectly in there, and it was routed up through the cross member to get it right where it needed to be, and then we just fished it through the front of the bumper to get it to be, you know, where it needed to be. So that worked out really well as far as that stuff went during comp. I don't know. I'll think it through on some of that. But yeah, it's good feedback. Some good thought. Like when I initially pulled this out, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to change really, but it's just needed that thinking through to really determine what was going to make the most sense for it. Could you use like an H10 steering setup, but keep CMS, still go to a 4-link? No, you can't do 4-link in CMS. You need a panhard bar for CMS. Otherwise, you will induce. It's kind of like bump steer. It's not bump steer, but you need that link that counteracts the force of the steering, so that it doesn't want to just force articulation when you steer. So that's why when you have it chassis mounted, you see a panhard setup. It's for proper design reasons. Yes, I've seen people run 4-link with CMS and argue that it works, but there's a reason the physics don't. So, has anyone asked if there will be a driver figure? No. Do you guys remember the driver figure that I ran in it when I ran this one? So, what are your thoughts on the Prusa Core 1 or Core 1L? I'm thinking of ordering one. I've seen them in person at one of the maker events out here in San Francisco when I went to San Francisco for it. What was it called? Open Sauce, it was called. So we got to see it and actually met Mr. Prusa there. but it's not one that has deterred me from, or like made me want to go away from bamboo. So it just hasn't. Skeleton. Yep. The silly Sorka rules that allowed skeletons that's what I read. Was that jumpsuit Jimmy? That was in the Jimmy's rig. Thank you. What do you need to make a 3-link to a 4-link? So if you're trying to convert from a 3-link to a 4-link, you remove the panhard mount, you add another upper link. Usually, you need to make sure that the linkage that you have has proper triangulation, because a 3-link does not require the triangulation. That's what the panhard mount does. So oftentimes it needs all new geometry in general to go from 3-link to 4-link properly. A lot of people don't worry about it because it's an RC car, but if you really want to get into it, that's why and what it's all about. I'll catch up with this show probably at GeoGuessr time. Any bombers still in the collection? Nope, none of that stuff left. I've got rid of all of that. CMS with the servo mounted on its side in the front area, even if it needs a bell crank. No, there would not be room height-wise and servo horn height-wise for clearance. There's just, you wouldn't have enough room or enough distance between the bell crank positions where it would work. So it's, if I'm doing bell crank to try and make everything swing in an arc that was flat enough that you didn't end up with locking as it got past its point, this was really like one of the best spots I have. Now it could go forward. Maybe what did I come up with? Like, I don't know. If I redesign the chassis, it could go forward more, because there's an actual notch in the chassis where the steering servo and everything sat. And it was designed that way to work with the mounting points for the suspension and all that stuff. And there was a lot to it at the time. It all still worked pretty well. But if I don't have those rules that are just forcing me into something, it does allow for some. Why don't they count the panhard as a link? It is. That's always about. Yeah, I know what you mean. I totally agree. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's so it's not worth it to convert to 4-link. It all depends on the car and the situation, where the steering force is coming from. If you basically have to have your servo on the axle if you're going to do a 4-link and do it properly. Unless you do parallel 4-link with panhard, then you can still have it chassis mounted. And there's not a lot of reason to do parallel 4-link with panhard, but it can be done. So you can do radius arm. You can do done all kinds of different ones. If you put rally lights on the front, you'd have more. Oh, do the built-in bulgy rally lights. Ugh. But I think that it would be so far forward that it would be in the area that doesn't help me any. I built a VS410 base rig with parallel 4-link and a panel. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of reason to do it. You're just doing it just to be like, if you want to make a scale JK or JL, even, I think, even Gladiator, those are all parallel 4-link with panhard in the rear, and front and rear, I believe. What size hardware did you design the IJ seat brackets to use? 2mm hardware by 8, maybe 6, 8, something like that. I've accumulated a collection of vampires thanks to you, Josh. You mean vampires? Which, I mean, I guess only partial. I did. They were sent to me. Are mine up here or are they downstairs? Oh, there they are. The vampires are some very nicely made pliers. I fully agree. I probably need to add the other sizes because these things are pretty excellent. Yeah, like they've got some really interesting cuts on the jaws. Like you can see the inside of the jaw at the top there, made for like screw extract, so you can grab a screw on the top, like to properly wrench on it if it's stripped. Oh, some good stuff there. I really like that. Made a scale ram 2500. Yeah. Is the VRT Builder's Kit a good one for a first-time builder? Oh, sure. The VRT Builder's Kit, definitely one of the easiest first-time kits to build. Super simple, super straightforward. Yeah. Easy go-to. I know you'll all relate. My Ender 3 V3 just failed a prototype slider. V2S is busy with something else, so I stuck using that. Like, so we've many of us started with Enders and things like that, and the failed print just sucks so bad. That's why I think it is so nice with the Bamboos now. They just fail so rarely that it's just like it doesn't feel like such a pain anymore. Did you read that member question about the gears? Did I not see it? Oh. Hayden Ulrich, thank you very much. Hey, Josh, I have a custom rig with a VFD twin, a broke attempting to jump a curb. Would the machine gear set be a worthwhile upgrade? Yes. If you can, the machine gear set for the twin, the transfer case gear set, that's the one to do. The front gears, you don't need to do. They're nice, if you just want to future-proof whatever, go for it. But the T-case gear set for the VFD twin, that's the one. Focus on that one. If you want to do the front gears just while you're at it, sure, go for it. But the front gears in the stock material they never break. So I wouldn't worry about that one all that much. But the T-case gears, that's the one to do. When actually running on the Porsche thing, F10 portals, specifically portals. Because tiny tires and still trying to have some performance out of it. So portals were, you couldn't run straight axles on this one without adjusting some ride height stuff pretty significantly, just with how it was designed. Because if you just tried to run exactly like this, but put straight axles, you'd be up into the fenders, which wouldn't work. So you would need to raise your ride height for that stuff for that reason. Hello, what up? 7, what up? Thank you for becoming a new member as well. Let's see. Those are gears I need for the VFD twin. I just when the Bamboo fails, I feel bad, like it's a sick kid. When my Flash 4 fails, I would kick it. Mine fails a lot because I'm impatient. You said Ender, and I cringed. Don't you know I have trauma? Yeah, I'm just, I don't know how many of us in here had an Ender before, as one of our printers, but if you do, you knew the struggles. still have an Ender. Yeah. I mean, the last one I had an Ender 5. I actually had it at the end of this build. During this build, my Prusa catastrophically failed during a print. Something happened, it moved around, and I was printing a mold that was like a 20 some odd hour print on the Prusa. And it basically melted the whole hot end assembly and like tweaked it all, since it was all 3D printed parts and it was just this big ball of heat. So that was the death of that. And there is probably some parts. Yeah. Like I believe these body mounts here on the side were some of the last parts. Those were printed on an Ender, the Ender 5 that I had to get me through. The engine, Matt printed for me because he had just got the X1 carbon from Bamboo. So he printed the entire engine, he detailed it and everything and sent it to me so that I didn't have to try and get like the super fine detail of this printed on the Ender. Yeah, the finer details of this were a bit of a pain. The assembly up front with like the pulleys and the alternator and the power steering pump, and it even has AC. So I don't know why it needs AC on a convertible without a top, but it still does. It couldn't handle 25-hour print, melted in. The nice thing was it was like the very last thing I needed to print. So and that Prusa had so many hours on it. So many hours. Sorry, I'm late. Late day nap. Hey, I took a nap right before this too. 27-minute nap was what my alarm was set for. Perfect. Woke up 6 minutes before the live stream. Okay, let's go. Let's see. Are Curry F9 axle parts available still? My Bomber has a broken rear axle trailing arm mount. Also, what do you recommend to replace original deadbolt axle housings with? Ooh. Curry F9 axle parts. There's probably some still available for those. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there probably is some. You might have to send customer service an email because that stuff's probably off the site. And as far as original deadbolt axle housings, you're finding stuff for that is you're basically down to just like the really cheap, like kind of no-name Chinese stuff. Like you can't find stock parts anymore. Those cars are just so old, they've been gone so long that they're just not parts available for those things anymore. And it's yeah, you just kind of out of luck. Let's see. Did you fab that tube chassis? Yep, we did. Sure did. This one was done out of titanium. But this whole thing, even the body, we fabricated. So unless you know a guy who stockpiled them, yeah, that's Deadbolt, my first crawler. Deadbolt was good. Deadbolt was fantastic. I spent more time tweaking, upgrading my Ender 3 than actually printing the things I wanted to print. Yeah, that was, doing this, doing that, tweaking, tuning, settings, trying to get Z banding out of them. And there's so much on those things just to try and make everything. Where can we make bets on if GTA 6 comes out before we get an SCX 10.4? Oh, I think you'll get GTA 6 first. I wonder if they'll call it an SCX 10.4. I mean, it makes sense. I just wonder if they will, or if they'll just do something weird. I feel like they could just do something random. Call girl, curious, did you ever do a weight comparison of your Porsche versus Matt's? Oh man, it was so long ago. I don't remember. Hmm. I know we did a comparison of the tube work. But I don't know if we did a full car comparison of the two. The tubing was so barely different. It was wild. The Venom Creeper. They should have been gathered up door to door. Would you ever do a build along of the Moto built tube chassis? I think it looks incredible. It is cool. I mean, would I plan on it? No, like right now, just like while I do love it, maybe I would at some point. I wouldn't say that I like plan on just usually a chassis has to like I'll find one and be like, okay, I want to build that one now. I'm gonna build it tomorrow. So that's usually how it goes. My brother-in-law's Axial SR5 arrived yesterday to my house. Is he hiding it? He's stashing it away. That's a mug. I've been wondering why you had a fire extinguisher on your desk. It's funny. We called it the fire extinguisher too. Yes, it is. It's a growler style. It just has ice water in it. But 64 ounces of Kool-Aid. No. Would you use tie rod again or tie tubing? I've never found titanium tubing of this diameter. So titanium rod was the only option for me, at least, that I could find. The other thing, no, it'd be fine. It'd be fine for that. So if I was going to do it again, I would still use titanium rod. The titanium rod's still 30% lighter than steel tubing, but yeah. Hey, thank you. Better be the purple. It's light enough. Yeah. And with titanium being a little bit more finicky to work with, like a little bit, I don't know if I would try the tubing. I could just see me getting it almost there and then like blowing out like one tube. Like, damn it. I'm going to put you. Okay. Enough of the spamming. I'm going to have to put timeout. Okay. Sorry. Time that out because that's annoying. What's the total cost of the Porsche, if you don't mind me asking? I have no idea. It's because of like the material cost of buying the carbon and the resin and the silicone to make the molds and the 3D printer filament for all the molds. And yeah, I got no idea. Does it use flux? It was all done with TIG. So no flux with TIG. That's the gas is the shielding. Could you imagine how expensive tube would be? The amount of yeah, I mean, yeah, that's 2,400. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what I can find for 316. Yeah, see, I mean, maybe it's out there. I just don't think I've never seen it. I didn't ever see the spamming didn't show up. Weird. I don't know. Bytes $1 million. So that's where we're at so far. Let's get this over here. I do know that Matt's body was lighter because I had a lapse while building and made one door like 4 or 5 mil thick when they should only be like a millimeter. What's your spreadsheet? Didn't spreadsheet? There was so much going on with this. I didn't have time. I spent so much design time. How is your cage mounted? The cage is mounted through a system onto the floor and the sliders, so it is independent of the body. It's down to the chassis, and there's a whole system with how that all goes. But yeah, there's lots to it. I tried to make it serviceable while not needing to be serviceable, if that makes sense. So while you don't want to work on it, you could work on it. Make it derp. Hard, no. Because the body has so much curve. It'll be expensive. No need to say more. The carbon and the resin, it won't be that bad. The silicone got a little expensive, but I'm guessing, I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess. Is it geo time? It's geo time. Do you ever sell your builds? Every once in a while. Usually for ridiculous numbers that are insulting to most people. But otherwise, I'm keeping it. So is that 64 ounces of Kool-Aid? Red. Cheaper to buy an Origin. It would be cheaper to buy an Origin than to buy that car from me. Yes, it is. So, it will be worth the weight saving and strength gained. For what? For which one? The build along flat rate, not the added materials. Like the build along is it's usually $100. I don't think that will be any different. I think that will still just be the same. Yeah. I don't have any plans to change that. So, but what one would be? But one be worth it? Then, I mean, that's the thing, right? But limited numbers, right? Yes, there's a limited number of people on the build along part. Once it's done, it goes up, and then anybody can do it, and it's unlimited. But during the process that we're going through and like talking with everybody every day, that is what is the limited part. Yeah, so there you go. What would you say the order of difficulty is? Jimmy's Buggy Rockability and the Porsche in order. I have a really hard time. I think that the Rockabilly is easier than the Jimmys. I do, but people have said either way on that. I think that they're probably very close. And then this one, carbon fiber is a lot of work, and doing it well is a skill. I'm not saying that I do it well, but I can do it. I think that this Porsche will probably be the easiest. That could be a lie. It's going to be time consuming. It may be the most work out of any of them. But I think it might be the easiest because there's going to be a lot of mold prep. I've got a new mold process that we're going to try on this one. That is basically the reverse of everything we've done so far. So The Jimmy is the hardest to get. Yeah, it is the Jimmy. There's a lot going on in it. So that makes it very hard. The finishing of the details is difficult in the Jimmys for sure. But the actual like build and construction is hard. That could be a lie. The Girls of Vanquish should build one. 0.0%. And now I might be able to get Vittorio to build one. Are you getting a new Porsche rally body for the Mojave from the Little Guy Racing Parts? It looks so good. Check it out. I have seen it. I covered it on the news. I probably won't get it. No, I don't. While I have a Grom, it's just a little basher beat up. And am I actually going to paint up to it? I think it looks great though. So let's have Steve build one. You know what? I don't know that he's got the free time lately. Because you designed the bending, the tube brace, etc. initially, but later projects went faster. Yeah, I definitely made, so like the Rockabilly, I feel like it was easier to do things because I had really built in all of the little details to the fixtures and things like that. Like when I built a Rockabilly, I didn't have to use a ruler, a tape measure, or caliper for building the cage once. All the lines are built into the fixtures and they're calibrated to my bender. So the only thing I needed was the tubing and a Sharpie. Just mark, put it in there, bend it, fits perfectly every single time. Like that was the benefit of, you do the build along and you get this bender. Like you get the bender, everything just works. It takes all of the work out of it. It's so nice how much easier it takes to just get that stuff done. And then now having the tubing notcher jig, like just the little things like that that make things easier. Found the iPhone. Boom. Got it. How did Vittorio get such a nice desk at work? So when Vittorio started, we shoved him in the YouTube room at work. We're like, hey, we'll get you something set up for like an actual workspace before too long. Like just kind of power through. And then things worked out where I was able to, the people that were in the other portion of the building we were in, they left. So we leased the rest of the buildings. Now we have 2 buildings in almost all of both buildings. There's a glass company at one end of our building now, but the other, so it had a big office area in that one. And we're like, well, Vittorio, here you go. You get this, you get the room that has more office space than the rest of our offices put together. There's 5 of us in the office that, yeah, 5 of us in the design office, like where I'm at. But Vittorio gets an area that's at least twice as big, and it's just him and sometimes Steve. So. So yeah, there you go. All right. It is 8:15. We've been on here an hour and 45. That's not too bad for this part of it. If you're not familiar, I like to drive off the rest of everybody watching these shows by playing some GeoGuessr at the end because it's one of my favorite games. If you've never seen it, you're missing out. We played a little international or like famous places last week, and I made an absolute ass of myself by showing how uncivilized I am. Not civilized, uncultured. I'm also uncivilized, but so this game just drops you in random places wherever you decide to choose. And from there, you try and pinpoint where you're at. Now, you could cheat and Google things and things like that. I try not to do that. That's not what, that's not my goal. Braze or weld the TI? I welded it. So you're doing regular welding for the titanium. Yeah. But yeah. I like GeoGuessr, but I have to work tomorrow. We'll probably be a little bit earlier tonight than we normally are, or than we have been in the past. We're gonna do the United States because that's the place that I know. That's where I live, actually. You can set it to like not being able to move around, or you can't even pan and zoom. I allow the moving. I don't have the time limit on. If you have an account and you'd like to play, you can use that code to play the same one that I play. Stick welding it is. So, where are we here? Context clues. Cooper View Recreation Center, Utah. That helps us. Mountains are to the east, so I'm guessing Salt Lake City area. Do we see anything called Cooper View? I don't offhand. Rivertown. I'm just guessing that it's up in this area. We're getting pretty high up here at this point. Ogden. Let's see. Do we see anything? Provo. Do we have any more context at all? I don't see it. We're just going to fire something in here. Let me see if there's any more context I can get. We do have a range out there. It's going to be on the other side of Salt Lake, probably. So, or Lake Utah. Ooh. Let's say it's Lake Utah. I'm guessing. Let's go with there. I wasn't too far off, was I? No, I was pretty close. 21 miles. I'll take it. FedEx ground. That doesn't help us any. For sale. Doesn't really say, just says Proman. Can I go down here? Nashua. Nashua. I know where that is. Why do I know where that is? Anything here? Direct set. East Coast Arrow. Nashua is, what is? Isn't that north? Isn't like Nashua. Boom. Okay, so we're gonna be somewhere in here. Are we by an airport? Is that what it said? Yeah, airport authority. So let's see if we can find an airport real quick. Doubletree. Middle school. I think we're right by. There's got to be an airport popping out somewhere. Is it going to be outside of town? Texas Roadhouse pops up. That's important. Now we're in a different area. I don't see an. Oh wait, there's an airport right there. Boom, Okay, and we are looking to the north side, northeast to the runway. So we're going to be down here. We're going to be like in here. Look at that. We were 354 yards away. That'll do. Our local airport is next to the escrow facility. I mean, I'm in California, so you're always close. Is this Texas feeling? Huge houses, wide roads. We're seeing some seasonal tree type activity though. Take me to somewhere with that's some interesting color. This is not feeling Texas. This is feeling East Coast. It looks very Central California. What? This is feeling East Coast-ish to me. That brown is not feeling East Coast, though. Maybe this whole area is just heavily watered. I don't know. We got a roundabout. Ugh, improperly signed roundabout. No chevron. No black on white chevrons. You just got one-way signs. X. Object markers. This is terribly signed. Man, I'm deep in some neighborhood, though. This is... I'm also terrible at this game. I'm just trying to get somewhere that isn't... Oh, shit. Take me back. They drove past here on 2 different days, obviously. Fall. Look at your signs. Isn't that helpful? Okay, I'm finding very little help on this. You just moved through a season in 50 yards. Exactly. Get me out of this place. Thank you. Finally. Neighborhood sign. Regal Coffee. That doesn't help me any. Floating Feather. It's fall. Oh, we got mountains in the background. Okay. That helps a little bit. Now it's not fall anymore. Oh, this one is the worst. Feather nest. Everything's feather here. Makes me feel like we're in possibly an area with like a lot of Native American influence. That's pretty common for those types of names. No license plate on that. Any help here? Fat beam. What in the hell kind of Michigan, Virginia? Yeah, I mean, well, Michigan, you're not going to see mountains in the distance like that, right? We could be freaking Lexington, Kentucky. There's Lexingtons everywhere, though, is the problem. This has been just the worst. No mountains in Michigan. Yeah, exactly. Give me something on a sign. Of course, nothing. Berkshire. Okay, so we're by Warren Buffett. We're in Omaha. There's no mountains in Omaha. Connecticut. Dude, this has been the absolute worst round. I'm going to have to just take a wild ass stab and ruin my results. Because central paving. God damn it. Sweet square body. Oh, I miss a square body. I love car spotting in this game. Oh man, look at that. Fog or smoke. See, that distance looks pretty interesting. Eagle, Idaho. Fine. Did you cheat? That does look Idaho-ish out there, doesn't it? Colorado. Yeah, I mean. Ooh, those plates do look like they've got the red, white, and blue banding like Idaho. Right? Yeah, look. Like, I think that background, it does look. And there's not many places in Idaho it's going to be. You're going to be basically. I mean, the odds are going to tell me to go to Boise. Is there anything here that. Where am I? I'm on the north side of town, and there's nothing on the horizon. There's nothing city-wise. So let's just go on the north side. So let's say I came out of here. Floating. Did we say floating feather? We did, didn't we? Is there like a wild-ass neighborhood? There is. Look at the roundabouts. $363 yards. That was a disaster, but worked out. All right. Hawaii or Florida? Looking like Florida. City is something. We're definitely in like the sandy Florida terrain, though. Kind of looks northern, though, right? Like the trees just look more northern than Tallahassee. You think it's Tallahassee? I don't feel like it's that far north. It still looks like Tallahassee always makes me wonder if I'm in Florida at all. Like I'm thinking, is there any? It just says Waste Pro. Nothing. City of Belton's. Maybe like Jacksonville type area. Sarasota. Isn't that on the Gulf side? I'm just trying to see if I can find anything that reminded me, like, Dalton's, Belton's, Daytona. It doesn't say Daytona. Deltona? Does it say Deltona? That could say Deltona. 3.4 miles. That's not bad. That'll work. Who are we stalking? Now we're in Hawaii. Right? Yeah. Kiewit. Infrastructure, West Coast. Oh, okay. Well, are we just Southern California then? I mean, this stuff looks very Hawaii, doesn't it? See if we have any like street names that look, yeah, we're in Hawaii. Okay. That is a safe bet. Can we see which way the ocean is? To try and get some sort of guess. See the hills that way. I'm going to guess that it's southeast, southeast. So let's go Honolulu. Fire one in there. Ooh, 5 miles. That'll work. View results. What did we do? We got gold. 24/7. That's a good one. That is a solid round of GeoGuessr. But I think that's all I have in for me. All that I have in me for the evening. I'm going to get some more work done tonight, but mainly in CAD. So I'm going to go in the other room, put my headphones on, and start kind of cranking away a little bit. That is going to do it for tonight's stream. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Appreciate it. Exciting stuff. Excited to have some perspective on really staring at that car a little bit and maybe making some decisions based on that. So that'll do it for this one, guys. Thanks again for joining me. See you on the next one. Later.